Welcome back, everybody. We're going to get back into this pretty quickly here. Forgive the surrounding sounds. We're out lakeside today, and so we have to deal with all that extra stuff. So for today, we're going to jump right into a story that is a very difficult one from Scripture. And I'm going to keep these short. We're going to talk about this more tomorrow at the Community for Better Living. And if we need to, we might do some more. I was not really happy with the little pocket Bible that I had out here translatively. I had a little bit unusual one, so I'm going to do this actually off my phone. So I'm in the 32nd chapter of the book of Exodus, starting right off the gate in verse 1. When the people saw that Moses had not come down from the mountain, but was staying there a long time, they gathered around Aaron and said to him, "We do not know what has happened to this man Moses, who led us out of Egypt. So make us a god to lead us." Aaron said to them, "Take off the gold earrings which your wives, your sons, and your daughters are wearing, and bring them to me." So all the people took off their gold earrings and brought them to Aaron. He took the earrings, melted them, poured the gold into a mold, and made a gold bull calf. The people said, "Israel, this is our God, who led us out of Egypt." Then Aaron built an altar in front of the gold bull calf and announced, "Tomorrow there will be a festival to honor the Lord." Early the next morning they brought some animals to burn as sacrifices and others to eat as fellowship offerings. The people sat down to a feast, which turned into an orgy of drinking and sex. The Lord said to Moses, "Hurry! Go back down, because your people, whom you led out of Egypt, have sinned and rejected me. They've already left the way that I commanded them to follow. They've made a bull calf out of melted gold and have worshipped it and offered sacrifices to it. They're saying that this is their God who led them out of Egypt. I know how stubborn these people are. Now don't try to stop me. I'm angry with them, and I'm going to destroy them. Then I'll make you and your descendants into a great nation." But Moses pleaded with the Lord his God and said, "Lord, why should you be so angry with your people, whom you rescued from Egypt, with great might and power? Why should the Egyptians be able to say that you led your people out of Egypt planning to kill them in the mountains and destroy them completely? Stop being angry. Change your mind and do not bring this disaster on your people. Remember your servants, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember the solemn promise you made to give them as many descendants as there are stars in the sky, and to give their descendants all the land you promised would be their possession forever." So the Lord changed his mind and did not bring on his people the disaster that he had threatened. Moses went back down the mountain carrying the 2 stone tablets with the commandments written on both sides. God himself had made the tablets and had engraved the commandments on them. Joshua heard the people shouting and said to Moses, "I hear the sound of battle in the camp." Moses said, "That doesn't sound like the shout of victory or a cry of defeat. It's the sound of singing." When Moses came close enough to the camp to see the bull calf and see the people dancing, he became furious. There at the foot of the mountain, he threw down the tablets he was carrying and broke them. He took the bull calf which they had made, melted it, ground it into fine powder, and mixed it with water, and then he made the people of Israel drink it. He said to Aaron, "What did these people do to you, that you've made them commit such terrible sin?" Aaron answered, "Don't be angry with me. You know how determined these people are to do evil. They said to me, 'We don't know what happened to this man Moses who brought us out of Egypt, so make us a god to lead us.' I asked them to bring me their gold ornaments, and those who had any took them off and gave them to me. I threw the ornaments into the fire, and out came this bull calf." Moses saw that Aaron had let the people get out of control and make fools of themselves in front of their enemies. So he stood at the gate of the camp and shouted, "Everyone who is on the Lord's side, come over here." So all the Levites gathered around him. And he said to them, "The Lord, the God of Israel, commands every one of you to put on your sword and go through the camp from this gate to the other, and kill your brothers, your friends, and your neighbors." The Levites obeyed and killed about 3,000 men that day. Moses said to the Levites, "Today you have consecrated yourselves as priests in the service of the Lord by killing your sons and brothers. So the Lord has given you his blessing." The next day Moses said to the people, "You have committed a terrible sin, but now I will go up the mountain to the Lord. Perhaps I can obtain forgiveness for your sins." Moses then returned to the Lord and said, "These people committed a terrible sin. They've made a god out of gold and worshipped it. Please forgive their sin, but if you won't, then remove my name from the book in which you have written the names of your people." The Lord answered, "It is those who have sinned against me whose name I will remove from my book. Now go lead the people to the place I told you about. Remember that my angel will guide you, but the time is coming when I will punish these people for their sin." So the Lord sent a disease on the people because they had caused Aaron to make the gold bull calf. So there's the story. And the translation that I read from today was the Good News translation, which also sort of abbreviates some of the story. This one is complex, it's complicated, and it certainly is one of the more difficult stories of the Old Testament. How do you put the God of love into the context, with this story? How do you deal with what Christ said about who God is, and deal with this Levites strapping on their swords and going through? Well, it's all right there in the story if you read it. In fact, I'm probably not even going to go back to it here because it's a simple chapter in the book. You can read it. I would encourage you to do so. Read it out of several different translations because you always get a little bit different flavor as you go. But let's just walk through the pieces to this story. One, Moses is up on the mountain talking to God. He's been there a long time, and the people growing patient. Now, I'm not going to take the time today because producer will shoot me if I go too long, but I could show you over and over again how often these people get impatient waiting for God to do the right thing, or how often they forget that He took care of them each and every step along the way. It seems like every time they turn around, they're sort of turning their back on Him. Anyway, Moses is up there and they grow impatient. So they go to Aaron and they say, "We don't know what happened to this Moses fellow who led us out of Egypt." What a terrible way to refer to him. But hey, Aaron, you be our leader now and come up with some kind of God for us to follow so we don't have to be out here on our own. And so Aaron tells them to come and bring their gold. He's very specific. "Bring me the gold earrings and jewels that you, your sons, your daughters, blah, 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 all wear." And he makes a mold of a bull calf. He throws their gold into it, puts it in the fire, and makes this mold of a calf. Incidentally, if you follow ancient paganism, the calf is probably Mithra, and we're looking likely at Mithraism there, though I certainly haven't done the background much on that to know whether that's where we are or not. But not uncommon, wouldn't be unusual to have a gold bull calf in the form of Mithra as a god. God sees this, and this conversation takes place between God and Moses. First, God says, "That's it, they've done it. I'm going to wipe them out, and we'll start over with you." And then Moses says, No, God, don't do that. What would people say about who you are?" And so you see in the story here, God is taking an aggressive posture. Even though we know God knows the end from the beginning and He doesn't change His mind, if you put that in your head, then you recognize what He's doing is He's conditioning Moses here. And so He says, "Let's just tear them up." And Moses has compassion. He says, "No, let's not do that. I love these people. You love these people. We don't want the wrong thing to say." And so He puts Moses in the position, an odd one for Moses, by the way, of arguing on the people's behalf. And so God says, "All right, you go down, you check in with them, and let's see what we can do." And so Moses goes down, and we don't see the same Moses that we saw on top with God. We see the one who smashes the stones, grinds up the gold, makes them drink the water, the drink of their iniquity, or whatever you would want to say about that. And he's in this rage, and he calls who's with God, and the Levites come out, and he straps swords on them, and he sends them out there, and he says, "Go kill sons, brothers, fathers, sisters, whatever." And so they go kill about 3,000 people, and then they come back to him, and he says, "God approves of what you did," and he consecrates them. And here we have this very difficult story whereby God gains a priesthood through blood. The God who Christ said loves us gains a priesthood through blood. Very difficult. Fortunately, the story doesn't end there, and I did read you the whole thing, and I read it through a very clear text, so you may well be on to me here a little bit. Moses goes back up the hill, and now he has compassion again, and he says to God, before I get there, as he's down there, after grinding up the stuff, making him drink it, having Levites kill, actually, I guess before he had the Levites kill, he goes to Aaron, he says, "What in the world did you do with these people?" And Aaron gives his version of the story, and I hope you caught that when we read it. It's almost laughable. In the true story, the people ask him to help them, and he makes a mold and builds a gold calf. In the telling to Moses, he says, well, I don't know, they were complaining because you were gone. I thought they were going to overthrow me and kill me, and this was going to be a problem in that. So we took some gold, we threw it in the fire, and out popped this calf, so we thought we better worship it. Not at all what happened. May have been able to fool Moses, certainly was not fooling God in the story. But you see that there's this, Aaron is afraid of Moses and his anger and what he's going to do, and so he tells a lie to cover for himself, and Moses lets him off the hook. Then Moses goes back up the hill, and he says to God, listen, these people created a grievous sin. Please, don't punish them. Punish me. Take my name out of the book of life. And God says here, it's another one of these great places where he says, we don't punish the one who wants the punishment. We punish the one who did the sin. That's the only way this works. And that creates a whole nother story that we need to talk about and deal with in the concept of the way we think about how things work in a religious position. And we'll do that at a later time. The point I want you to get here today is that Moses went down the hill, had the Levites strap on their swords and go kill 3,000 people, and then he told them that they had done God's will in punishing the people, consecrating themselves to him. And now he goes back up the hill and he starts talking to God about forgiving the people. And God says, no, I won't take your name off the book because you didn't do it. I'll take the names from the ones who committed the sin against me off the book. But anyway, the time is coming when I will punish the people. And I just have to pause at that point and ask you, because it's rarely as clean as this one. If God has not yet punished the people, then whose punishment was drinking the gold water? Whose punishment was smashing the stones and yelling and going through all this? And whose punishment was the Levites strapping on their swords and going through hacking people apart? We know Moses had anger issues, and we also know that he had difficulty properly representing God at all times, in every situation. I think what we're looking at here is a story in which Moses punishes the people quite grotesquely, and God gets the blame for it because that's the way it goes. Fortunately for this one, it's all in the same story. And so you see God says, I'm not yet ready to punish my people. The good news sort of does wrap it up with, and he sent a plague. But read it from some different translations and see what you get. Somehow, after all that anger, smashing, and killing down there, God had not yet participated in the punishment of the people. And so there we have a story that starts, gets messy, there's lies told and different things like that happen, and then at the end it sort of cleans itself up. I hope you can see that one. I hope you read it. We'll talk about it more tomorrow if you want to join us at the center. That's all I have for you for now, and I hope you enjoyed the beautiful sunset here out in Lorain, Ohio. Thanks much. Love you. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.